It's Friday. Don't think that means anything to you degens, but we're here, we're vibing. I'm Fairy Liquid. Welcome to Artifact Creator Spaces. It's a round table, which means it's time to pull up a seat. Come sit with us. We're talking gaming and web3. Woo-hoo. First, I want to suss out the room, see who's here. Seriously, come on, guys. There he is. There's Hondro. Okay, we got everyone now. If you want to come up and speak, it's free for all. Let's go. First. Let's say hello to Cass. Hi.
I like how you always go to me first, even though I feel like I should probably be last. But I'm excited to hear where this conversation goes, because it could go all over the place. And yeah, might as well just throw it to some of the others. See, we got Alts in here. Alts, what's going on?
I mean, I don't want to be thrown to second. Like, I should be third, bro. No, I'm just
you can't steal my lines, dude.
I was just starting a trend, man. No, it's good to be here. I'm excited to talk about this space. Foray, I thought you said Foray Day instead of Friday, which I'm all about. I like Foray Day, kind of the hybrid of both. I will take it. Merging days. But no, I'm stoked to be here. Excited to talk about gaming.
Happy to have you here. Hi, Johnny. How you doing?
Very well. Just in a deep design session. Just enjoying the day. I want to hop in, enjoy the conversation as well.
Well, thank you so much for joining. Yobs, you're up as well. Hello.
What's good, gamer gang? Let's go. I'm excited for this conversation still. I'm a bit upset I didn't get thrown to first, but we'll talk about that later.
Bruh, the way you guys will talk about later, like I'm gonna be sleeping on the sofa tonight. Jesus Christ, I'm scared. Hello, Hax. Nice to see you up here.
Hey, how's it going? Nice to see you too.
You too. How's everybody's day been? I'm very excited. I have had some time to play Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm just throwing it out there. I think everyone should know that I got 100% completion in Breath of the Wild. Okay, I just need y'all to know that. That's a big achievement. Also, 100% in GTA 5, okay? Don't forget this, people. It's very important. Are there any games that you guys have played that you're proud of completing, maybe? Or, just the fact that you managed to beat that one boss that beat your ass so much?
I can go first, but I'm gonna flip it a little bit because I actually love games. I'm a huge gamer. And I've been I don't know if you guys have played any of the Dark Souls games or anything, and I hadn't touched any of them. But when I got the PS5, Demon Souls, I've never in my life not been able to finish a game. And this is the first time I felt defeated. I can't remember what boss it was, but it was like the flame demon or something underground. And I just couldn't do it. I was there for 2 weeks, giving it my all, and I couldn't beat this boss. And it's the first time in my life where I gave up on a game, and this still haunts me to this day. So I'm just going to start off with maybe a negative one instead. So maybe you guys could speak about your wins now. But yeah, man, that one really killed me.
Can confirm it was, I think, one of the first times that I saw Yobs cry as well. He was literally shouting at the TV, about to break the PlayStation controller. It was getting a bit dangerous, so I'm really glad he put that down. But one thing I didn't do, and I know I'm gonna get so much shit for this, oh my god. Hondro, hi.
Oh, you finally recognize me in the spaces, Fairy.
Dude, it was taking you so long to get up here.
I find it very humorous at this point. And for those that don't know, I like to give Fairy the hardest of times for leaving me out of memes, because she likes to do that.
So the fact that I'm the one person that didn't get thrown to during the introductions by Fairy, it was pretty fitting for our relationship.
You know what it is when you love somebody so much that you just think they're with you all the time. That's what's going on here.
You just forget their existence. No, but like throwing back to like hard games, like I think the first game that I ever like quit on was like Mega Man X for Super Nintendo. Like I don't know why, like, but Mega Man games have just always been insanely hard for me, and like it was one of those games where like I just like I think I beat like 2 or 3 of the bosses, and like there was just some that like I could not get past, and it was just like F this game. I'm gonna play Mario again. And so from that moment on, I don't like games that are like insanely hard, like just to be hard. Like I'm not a big Souls fan. Like hopefully Ben's not listening and doesn't fire me, but like I get so little time to game now, especially as a parent, that it's like I want to enjoy like every ounce of that gaming experience, and just like dying repeatedly is not my cup of tea.
So I don't think Ben's gonna fire you over not liking any Souls games. Alt, what about your experiences?
Oh man, I that really resonated with me, Hundra. Like I loved Mega Man back in the day, but it was so hard. It was so tough. I mean, I do like games that have levels, like easy, and you can just rock, enjoy it. But then you can, as you feel more challenged, you can up it. That way you get the full experience of the game. Like another Mega Man style one, like a Castlevania back in the day, was like so frustratingly hard. But also like the mechanics of games, like the way they're difficult is a bit different these days. Like in the retro games, it was like you had to land this jump at the last pixel of a step in order to move, and it was like that. It'd be something stupid that would get stuck for like 6 hours. But I think nowadays, like with the number of platforms and games that are out there, it's kind of like when we're watching Netflix or something else. It's like if you get stuck, it's like, all right, I'll just move on to another game. I'll come back later, versus it was like they'd only release one game, and you just literally you have to just, it's in your soul to just beat the thing no matter what it takes. We're definitely different times, but I've been playing the VR version of Star Wars since May the 4th. I've just started jamming with that again, which is super fun. But the challenges on that are insanely hard as well. So it can be very frustrating too.
I was like, it's not even like you die and it's like just frustrating, because it's like you die in those old games and like you have to go all the way back to the start of the level, or it's like, oh, you died 3 times, start the entire game over. And so like it's so funny like how like games now, it's like, oh, you die, like here, let me just respawn you in the exact same spot. Like you have infinite lives, you have infinite tries. But like back then it was like there were some games like you couldn't even shut off. Like I remember playing Earthworm Jim on Super Nintendo, and I had gotten like so far, and it was just like, but I couldn't shut it off because like there wasn't save codes, there wasn't save states, and I was like, I need to beat this game for once. And then like our power went out or something, and I think I never picked up the game because I was just like so frustrated. And but yeah, it's like funny like that evolution of games where like, and it's like almost like the evolution of society too, where it's like now everything's just expected to be handed to us, where like back then like beating a game felt like a major accomplishment sometimes, and like now it's just like, okay, cool, I died 3,000 times on my way here, but eventually I got that one run in, whereas like you had to be almost perfect on some of these games like way back then.
Dude, even some of the gameplay back then, you had to get alpha from like a subscription magazine to learn certain moves and stuff. It's like, yeah, it's definitely more handed to you today.
Oh man, those days in the lunchroom when that one rich kid got the new Nintendo Power in, and you guys all went to try to find the Zelda secrets.
Bro, I used to go into the newsagent there, like, and just sit in the corner and hide from boss man and look through the through the magazines and write down the cheat codes and stuff. And one time he caught me, and he just gave me such a bollocking. He said, "You can't do this." Anyway, those codes are the best, man. Oh man, great days, great days.
The only use of a printer was, for me personally, to download the print the cheat codes, and I think I still have them in my GTA Vice City box. Oh man, that was such a great game.
Can I tell you a quick little story about cheat codes that I used to
Heck
do?
yeah.
It'll probably make you laugh. A friend and I, what we used to do is I bought like this like really cool lightning paper, and then we would basically make up fake fatalities from Mortal Kombat and print them up on this sheet. And then I would be like, I'd have it in my back pocket playing, and then I would lose and be like, oh no, and it would accidentally fall in my pocket. And then you walk away, and you find some kid that was waiting in line, pick it up, and he's like, oh my gosh. And then you see him like then go play the game, and they win, and they're trying to do, and it would be like labeled like super duper fatality, and it would just be like this insane combination that you couldn't even do in the time, but you'd see them like try over and that was like the game within the game. It was just ridiculous. I was the troll back in the day.
Oh, so you're a cheeky boy, huh? Johnny, I don't even know anything about your gaming experience or background. I thought you just been gaming on Photoshop all your life.
Yeah, like it was where I had two brothers that were so good at gaming that like they almost deterred me from wanting to play games. Like these guys were freaks in a way where they were like mailed games by like Blizzard and like random gaming studios to like be a tester like independently to like find bugs in the games and to like figure out things that like the programmers didn't do right. It was insane. Like for me, it's like I tried to play, and then it was like I think Call of Duty was like a perfect example, right? It's like my brother's like, yeah, I'll play, right? No, you can use whatever you want. I'll just use a knife. It was like kill death ratio like 40-1. And I was like, dude, I can't even see you. I can't even hit you with a gun. Like all of a sudden you're just stabbing me 40 times in a row, and I can't even do anything about it. Like these, I don't know. They were so good to the point where I was like, well, I'm just gonna go draw over here, and you guys can enjoy your game. So that's kind of where my skill set ended up going. But yeah, they were super super good like my whole life. So
And that's exactly how the great artist was born. Thank you to your brothers. Hey Chaz, how's it going?
Hey, I think I rugged for a second there. You guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh, sweet. How's everybody?
All good, all good. How are you doing today?
Good. I had to jump up for this one. Listen to you guys, big gaming nerds. So I mean, you already knew that.
Oh, I know that. Yeah. If you guys don't know, Chaz is really into Minecraft. I don't know if you'd Minecraft. Wow.
No, no,
Wow.
no. I never got into Minecraft
Oh.
actually. I do have younger siblings who like both love it. I just think it's like maybe I'm dating myself. I'm only 30, but like I think it's a younger generation game.
I'm still dying over saying Minecraft. I don't know why the hell that came into my head. I don't play it. I don't go near it. I'm allergic to that game. But you played Clash of Clans, right?
I did. I got really into Clash of Clans. Yeah, no, yeah, more than I care to admit. I also got really into Call of Duty. I was on leaderboards for Call of Duty and World of Warcraft at points in my life too, when I had way more time.
Time. Who's got time anymore? Hacks, do you want to speak about your gaming background a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So I actually started streaming in like 2014 on YouTube. Eventually moved to Twitch. Got a couple of sponsors through Nexon, Tencent, Perlibis, a couple like mobile gaming apps because that's what I was doing at the time, and I did it for reasons because like not many people were doing it. It was kind of very niche, but there was also a lot of money there and a lot of whales, right? In these like free to play, premium, pay to win games, right? So yeah, I started actually building my community back then in 2014. I had a Discord, and when NFT started, when the whole Corona craze already happened, like I already had 10K members in my Discord, so I was sitting in a pretty good like position to continue to just create content and build. And eventually, it did transition from gaming to just creation in general, whether it's art, 3D models, and just a whole ecosystem. That's what I have right now at the moment. It's a whole NFT ecosystem, and it's a play to earn game with a actual token that you can sell for liquidity. But yeah, that's my experience. I don't want to go on longer with this rant, but it's been really cool. Honestly, like it's been almost freaking 10 years now in the making, and a lot of people don't like see that or realize that. They just see like the end product. But from someone who's been there and had like literally no one believing in them, like my own parents are like, you're wasting your fucking time, blah blah. I just want to tell anybody else who is in gaming here, even if you're just a player, you're not even there is to do in this age and like in this time, and we're all kind of just figuring it out. Like there's a huge generational gap, so don't let anybody bring you down. That's my 2 cents.
Wow, some inspiring
Vibes.
words. Go on, Cass.
Nah, just saying what you were saying.
Beat you to it, buddy. There is a lot of benefits that I've been trying to do some research on how blockchain can benefit, the gaming industry. But I want to pass it to Alts first, because you're just very wise. You just know everything about anything. So how do you see it developing in the future, and do you think it will be a benefit or not?
Thank you, Foray. Happy Foray Day, everyone, again. No, I think like I just first of all, I love how the two ecosystems are similar in a lot of ways. Like obviously, we saw the Artifact founders like began in gaming and then just kind of came over into Web3 because it made perfect sense. But the way that like the creative juices, the avatars, the clothing drip, like marketplaces, like the ecosystems are very similar. So I think they'll tie in like in a lot of ways. I think I mean they can both benefit, right? From let's say from the consumer player side, if we go like more decentralized path, which that's the thing is we don't really know how it's all going to play out, right? Some of it will probably remain centralized, but be more efficient and cooler still on chain. But then the decentralized side can be way more open source, like a Ready Player One style world that you might imagine, you know. But like for that side, for the consumer, like yeah, to be able to now it's like you're very limited in what you can do with your own avatar in game, right? Like it's just whatever that game has. Like take Fortnite for instance. Like you have a more limited choice of avatars to play with, and then they each have like their different clothing, and you can purchase things as they come out. But it's like nothing is there's nothing rare about that, right? Or unique. Like every time a new one comes out, you see millions, or hundreds of other people wearing the same thing, and it's cool and it's nice to kind of play with something different. But you want imagine that versus having something way more rare that's and maybe even customized for you, and that you can more identify closely with. I think that's going to be so cool, and I don't know how it's going to all play out or how it's going to shape up, but just imagine like as a clone, like right, these things are built for this stuff. Like imagine being able to go into a game with your avatar, with the drip that you've been rocking, and be able to show that off to people that don't even know anything about our ecosystem. Like the conversations that will butt up out of that will be so cool. And that's why I think whenever they do start to merge, I think it'll kind of be fast and furious once people realize, when you roll up with like a pair of Mirakami drip kicks on your avatar and like there's only 3,900 of these in existence. People be like, wait, what? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how it's going to play out, but I think it's going to be super exciting. And I imagine from the platform side as well, like being able to do cross collaboration, stuff like that. I think it'll open up a lot of doors for them. I just don't know exactly what they'd be motivated, which direction, but I guess we'll see.
I think like one of the major benefits too, like on those points, are just like true ownership of these game assets. Like, you talk to a lot of gamers about this stuff, and it's like, yeah, we don't need that because you don't need the blockchain to do those things. And it's like, yeah, you don't until you do. Like, at any moment in time, like Steam, like Valve can just be like, yeah, we don't like what you're doing with your account and like lock you out of everything you own. And it's like, there's no recourse against that. It's just like, you can't go to them. You can't get all the stuff you've bought or purchased. Like at the end of the day, they own it. It's on their servers. And so it's like, now that, like, when you start putting that like real ownership onto the person that owns it, like those things like go away. And like you look at CS:GO, like, and their skins, and it's like everyone's like, oh, well, we don't need that because like Valve's never gonna shut us down. It's like, yeah, I mean, you're likely right, but what if they did? Like, if they just one day decided like, yeah, we're tired of people trading skins for hundreds of thousands of dollars, we're shutting this down, nothing's tradable anymore. Like, now all of a sudden those things you spent potentially a whole lot of real world money on is useless unless you like sell like the full account type thing, which is a bannable offense on most platforms. So like even that's not really an option. So it's, to me, it's like getting things down to like actual true ownership, and like kind of taking some of that power away from some of these gaming companies to like kind of bully people that are doing things that they don't necessarily fully agree with. And but I mean, that's also probably a major hurdle, because what's going to make these companies adopt something like this if they're losing that power?
I mean, it could be something as simple as like the servers going down for a few days, and it's like you just can't play with your assets, or something like that. But yeah, you're right too, Andra. Like, I think it's going to open up the marketplace ecosystem, and allowing more people to make a living out of playing things, and unlocking them for other players, as opposed to like not being able to sell things, right?
I think the other aspect for me has always been like the tying in the IP and that kind of like sentiment that we can bring with digital assets, where people actually have some sort of ownership over something that becomes, what Call of Duty even is a 10-year staple for most of us. And I'm sure a lot of freaks would play in that game even more if they knew that there was just going to be like a digital asset or some random skin that they could only have or something like that. I think in spaces I hear so many people come up with like the easily just like billion-dollar ideas for a lot of these organizations, but they just haven't figured out how to do it yet. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it'll roll out to the masses, but I think it's usually going to be through a few good examples.
I think community members, we've got a few in our community, like Vision, for example.
Oh, wait. Sorry, can I also say one thing? Because I forgot to say this earlier, and it's gonna stick with me because it was the answer to the question. No, it was the answer to the. You never let me answer earlier, so everybody else got to answer this question, and I got triggered by alts, and it's the "What game did you quit?" question.
All right,
and yeah, it was.
You don't need to explain. Just go.
Listen, but I'm telling you right now, because Mario was easily the most annoying game I've ever played in the beginning of my life. And it was probably the thing that it started like my semi-addiction to like games and puzzles, because going through Bowser's Castle, like Hondro said, like if you just like die several times and you just have to constantly like respawn, it's like it's just so stupid. And I was like, 5, trying not to rage quit my Game Boy, but whatever. Yeah, that was all I had.
My guy, you interrupted me for that. Are you serious? Thank you for sharing your experiences with us, sir. I also want to let you guys know, the floor is open. Please come up and tell us how much you love gaming and how you think, blockchain is going to benefit us all. I will tell you something. Beb is in this spaces, and now I've got nerves because you know what he said to me once? I was in a call with him, and he said, gaming's for losers. Don't waste your time gaming and don't sleep. And he also said, don't eat any vegetables. So I don't even know where to stand with this guy. He said, meat only. I forgot what I was going to say, Cass. Gosh. Something else that I wanted to bring up that I have no clue about, but I'm very interested in, and I'm hoping that you guys have some wisdom, is anti-cheat and fraud prevention, right? Because I bloody hate cheaters. I hate them in Call of Duty. I hate them in Fortnite. They ruin my day. How can blockchain potentially help get rid of those buttholes?
Well, the thing is with like anti-cheat software and things like that, I know like I don't know like too much, but like it all like really boils down to like server side things, and with like anti-cheat software and like gaming and stuff, they're really like tracking, you know, like play like how a player plays and moves and stuff. So like in the Dookie Dash game from Board Ape Yacht Club, like Yuga Labs, they had like an anti-cheat sort of thing going on there as well, but even that was like able to be hacked. So anything that is, you know, playable on a server through the web or anywhere, like there is going to be some sort of like way to like exploit it. But companies spend, you know, millions, like hundreds of thousands, millions to like deploy these like anti-cheat and anti all of this software. The only thing that like maybe blockchain can solve in that respect is probably the like duplication of items, for instance, or like spawning in items, for instance. So like in GTA, you can run a cheat and you can spawn in your rocket launchers, or you can spawn in, you know, cars and this and that. But obviously, if everything's token gated and your items and your inventory is token gated, then that's like that one sort of barrier in that respect, in that regard. But then even then, like your tokens like are only, they're stored on the network, and they're just called upon to let the game know that you own that in order for you to be able to use that specific thing in the game. So again, it doesn't really solve much because everything is still server side, everything is still like centralized on a server for you to be able to use. So as long as you can find an exploit to say that, hey, you have this token, even if you don't, there's still like ways to exploit things. So in terms of like blockchain, I don't think there's much, in my opinion, that can be done to like combat cheating per se. But it might be able to stop certain things. But we even have like botting issues right now, and nothing's like gamified at the moment. Just like everything's getting botted to death, and you know, even the biggest platforms and biggest projects find it difficult to stop botting. So I think we've got a long way to go to completely eradicate that sort of thing. But I mean, the only thing we've got on our side on the blockchain, at least, is like the verification, and which is like super powerful, to be fair, because once again, companies pay millions, hundreds of thousands just for verification software. And that's why I think like blockchain is super powerful for anyway. And that's why everyone's adopting it, is because now we have this pretty much free verification software for anybody to use, as long as you have a competent dev that knows how to write smart contracts. So the mass adoption for all of this is definitely coming, but the anti-cheat thing is going to carry on going forever. I think. I don't think there's always going to be devs and hackers trying to break the system. That's never gonna end, man. Like it's like devs get a kick out of it, hackers get a kick out of it. So where I don't think that's ever gonna ever gonna end, man.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I don't care about cheaters and Call of Duty or any of those games. Like, it's annoying, but like, it is what it is. If you want to go out and do it, go ahead. You know, the tools are there. Maybe you'll learn how to code and hack other things too, and become successful in life. Gaming for a win.
Yes, you don't even game, bro. What do you mean? Of course you're not going to be pissed
Listen,
off.
I don't play Fortnite obsessively now, so yeah, of course I'm not pissed. But like, I get it. I've been there. I've played games where there's ways people get hacked, and I think the last one for me, super random, is UFC. But yeah, UFC like 2, there were a few players you could just do like certain moves with, and if you knew how to do it, it was like a pretty much auto win because they didn't nerf any characters, and it was fucked. And yeah, I used to play in like competitions and tournaments, but then I started breaking controllers, and I was like, all right, I probably shouldn't be like, you know, spending $80 on controllers every 2 weeks because I can't control myself. So yeah, we don't have to go this deep into my background there.
Nope.
Yabs, what's good? What's going
We
on
went
here?
deep in.
I was gonna say that like this actually raises like an even bigger issue. To be fair, because like when it comes to like cheating and stuff in games, say you're cheating in like Call of Duty or Fortnite, or even like the games where maybe even like RuneScape and stuff, where people can like steal your stuff or like kind of trick you and whatever. Ultimately, there's like not that much of an issue because your whatever you've bought in game has no value outside of the game. But if people are cheating and like uh, stealing your like shit, that's tied to the blockchain where you have ownership of those assets, then essentially you're like it becomes a much bigger problem now than just cheating within like one specific game, because now obviously you're stealing people's like owned assets that have some sort of value where they can go and like sell it elsewhere. So yeah, I think there, if we go down this route, there needs to be much more like diligent protocols in place for these things to occur. Because if there's blockchain games, for example, where you can come in and wager your assets against someone else's assets, and someone's just going in like with cheat codes and just rinsing everyone's shit, then it becomes a massive problem. Because what can you really do? You can't take you can ban them from the game, but like they've still got all of the assets, they've still got all of your stuff. So yeah, I think it might actually create more problems.
Earlier, I was going to say, as long as there's greedy people on this planet, there's going to be cheaters. But you made a very good point about the hackers and the devs getting a kick out of this. It's very, very interesting. I mean, if I had the skills, I'm not going to lie, I would do it. Because you just want to, that's what they do. They want to test to say, hey, don't give me that face. Don't be so shocked, as if you're a good boy. Ropsy, hello. Nice to see you up here.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I just wanted to come on here and publicly age myself by telling you the game that like kind of changed everything for me. And most of you are probably too young in here to even remember when this came out, but it's the original Mortal Kombat for Sega Genesis. And when that game came out, that was like the most graphic, violent, like video game the world had ever seen. And like parents were going crazy and they weren't allowing their kids to play it. And it was just the wildest thing. And right in the middle of all that chaos, I remember my dad came home from work one day and he surprised me with that game. And I couldn't have been more than 8 or 9 years old. I had no business playing that game, but I couldn't wait to slap that thing in the Sega, man. And I lost so many hours of my life trying to learn how to do fatalities and all that crap. It was amazing. So, yeah, I just publicly aged myself. You guys are welcome. I'm old. It's all good.
They used to have like they were trying to like pass a law to get that game banned and shit. It was crazy. Yeah, and it's like nowadays, if you look at like the amount of violence and sex in our culture, it's like it's kind of hilarious.
Dude, that game is funny because like I loved that game, but my parents didn't. But like they would let me play the Game Boy version because obviously like it wasn't nearly as graphic as like the Sega or Super Nintendo one. So like the only time I got to play Mortal Kombat until I was like a teenager was like on the Game Boy. So I have fond memories of that game as
I mean, they
well.
used to replace blood with sweat on some of the versions. It was so ridiculous.
Can
Yeah,
you
the blue mode.
ban games on the blockchain?
Sorry, what?
Can you ban games on the blockchain?
Ooh.
I mean, you could probably like blacklist accounts or like wallets, like we've seen with some other things, but like an entire game, I feel like it also depends on like how everything is set up. It's almost like a moot point without seeing the whole infrastructure of everything.
Cass, are you walking?
I am sometimes I'm starting to take in some of these bad take vibes and learn how to not sit in front of my computer for obsessive hours out of the day. Yeah, so it's a perfect time to do it on a Spaces.
Bro sounds so out of breath.
I'm walking on a big ass hill, that's why.
Dre, hello. How are you doing?
Yo, GM. First, shout out to Cass for following through with the daily disciplines, conversations that we've been having in Bad Take about getting centered and being able to stay present in the moment and not allow the Twitterverse to overtake and overcome us. So, I appreciate you even doing that for yourself, man, because you deserve it more than anyone else. I came in at the right time with Rusty talking about Mortal Kombat, bro. Like, y'all have no idea how much it was lit back then. What a time to be alive. I remember when they dropped Mortal Kombat for the consoles. They called it Mortal Monday. You had to have a blood code for Sega Genesis to not have the sweat, ABAC, ABB. I don't even know how I remember that. But everything was lit back then, man. I remember I used to go from school to the local arcade because they had them back then. And we would spend countless hours and tons of money at this arcade just to play Mortal Kombat because it was really that big of a game changer, no pun intended. Like everything shifted after Mortal Kombat came out. So you hit that right on the head about how dope it was. I remember I asked my pop to get it for me, and he made me wait like a month, and I was salty. And then we had the Sega Genesis controllers that only had 3 buttons, so Sega capitalized on this game. They came out with the 6-button controller, and that was innovative. And you had to buy extra controllers just to be able to play it right, because with 3 buttons you had to press back hit and A to do a high punch, and that was weak as hell. It was just a crazy time back then. But yeah, man, what a dope thing to go through. It was legendary times.
I lost so many friends in those games. Like that's the thing. Like you like made and lost friends playing fighting games like back when they came out, because it was like, you had that one friend that always be like, well, you can't select this person, and then you'd be like, fine, you go whoop him with some other character, and like eventually like they just be like, what, I'm taking my cartridge and leaving, and they grab that, snatch it out without even turning off the console, they storm out. Man, there were some real life fist fights over those games back
I
in
was
the
about to
day.
say that me and my brother used to really knuckle up.
One other thing, real quick, if you've never had to blow into a game cartridge before in your life, you might be a little too young. Just saying.
I mean, I'm just saying, like there was some good memories, but like that's funny, like because Street Fighter 2, I feel like was so smart back then because they were like, we're not gonna add all that blood. Like, hey, look, parents, like we're fighting, but like we're just beating up, like it's just cars and the environment getting destroyed. There's not people's necks getting ripped out of their spleens, and all this other stuff. So like it's funny like watching all those different fighting games and like how they differentiated from themselves and kind of like what markets they were able to like capture because of that.
I want to say like I do miss like I mean it's definitely as a kid it was really cool to experience a game. I mean like today it's like everyone has their own consoles and computers and things, and the arcades really people don't really go to arcades anymore. But like in the day, it's like you before it even came out on the console, like you had to go to the arcade to play Mortal Kombat. But it's like not only that, it was like super popular, right? So you had to wait in line to play it, and then you get up there and you're next. You put your quarter up on the screen, right, to show it. You'd see a line of like 15 quarters, so you would know like okay, that's mine. I'm getting closer, or whatever. And then and if you were really good, like you could sit there and play for free for hours because people just wait in line to lose to you. Like it's such a crazy experience that like not a lot of people know about anymore, right?
Yeah,
See, this is
it's a very specific time period. Like I got kind of enthralled in games like with the NES and with the Intellivision. So I'm really dating myself because most people never even heard of the Intellivision. But arcades was a singular experience, and I think it was so critical to the rise of gaming, both here and abroad. But like there's nothing like going on stage essentially and playing Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter 2 or Tekken. Even Tekken
I
2
was
and
about to
Tekken
say
3 when
that.
they came out were huge. Like I was a big Eddie Gordo dude. People would hate like, oh my gosh, but I took capoeira, so it's like don't get mad at me. I fuck with the capoeira dude. So, but it's nothing like going to an arcade on a Friday night or like Saturday morning as a kid and having like $10 or $5 full of quarters in your pocket. Like this is, I don't know, and it's sad that we can't do that anymore. But I feel like there's a market for grown up arcades. You know what I mean? There's one called 1982 in LA, which is kind of dope. But I think that's the thing that should be around. because we're all still grown playing video games. I'll probably be 50, 60 playing. So, you know.
Shout out to Television.
Like, if you could just like bottle that up, like the smell of cheap pizza, root beer, and just like screaming and yelling kids running around somewhere while you're sitting there in an arcade, you know, probably beating up these adults in a video game and they're getting all mad because they gave you the money to do it, and then you're just sitting there whooping them because you're a little kid and you got those quick reflexes. It's like, man, just take me back.
Yo, can I just say that as a Blockbuster era kind of video game player, this arcade sensation was not there for me. Like, Blockbuster is cool because like you just like not be broke and still get a dope video game. But yeah, no, y'all sound like you guys were like Supreme Drop, ready to go beat people up. But Tekken is hype. I mean, I played a lot of different games like that. Yeah, I just had to say that shit. You guys real reminiscent here. Feel like I missed out on something.
You just had to know the secret, and you went to like a Chuck E. Cheese or something. You went to the ball pit, and you're just like, you probably got 8 kinds of diseases, but you rummage around underneath it, and you probably get enough quarters for the night just doing that alone.
Oh my god,
And
Alejandro, what the hell?
It was a way for like me and the homies to.
Gotta get them quarters.
Hey, there was an era like when I would go to the arcade and there would be a new arcade game, I would get so effing excited. Like there was a brief era after Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition came out where they had these bootlegged copies of like the arcade game, and they would change them slightly, so it would be like a new one almost every week. It was like Street Fighter like Wizard Edition, and you could like jump in the air as Ryu and do a Hadouken. Then you could jump again and do another Hadouken and come up through the bottom. Like all that shit was like dope as hell to me. It was just like random, like, what is this? It's like a new like mixtape of Street Fighter. You know, it was illegal and unsanctioned and shit like that, but they were like prevalent all over LA. So I had an arcade called that was the shit in the Marina Del Rey for a while, but it closed down. But yeah.
You notice how they took some of those advancements and added them to the game officially when they had those bootlegs flying around. A lot of people don't even know those backstories, but it was a time to be alive, man. Blockbuster had nothing on the arcade era, bro.
Well, so just like jumping in, what up, everyone? Good to see you, Q. Rupsy, awesome take with the Mortal Kombat. There's this Netflix documentary. It's called High Score, and it goes over the history of video games from the very first console all the way up through, I think, Doom, when video games hit PCs. Because what PCs did and what the internet did for video games is it almost unlocked the access for creators to go in and start customizing and modding video games more properly. Like that's what Doom did for the entire industry. So like you guys are talking about the bootleg unofficials flying around LA and how that entire culture did that for 20, 30 years on game cartridges. And then it came to Doom, and Doom actually recognized the importance that the internet community provided with the mods to their video game. And I think that's part of why Doom went so crazy, is because they were able to more simply streamline the things that their communities were already looking for, because the community had literally already built it. Like, this is just such a cool discussion. And if y'all are ever in the Minneapolis area, hit me up, because we have this bar called Up Down, and they serve drinks and they have really, really good cheap pizza, and it's packed full of 80s arcade games, pinball machines, rollerball, all that. It's a vibe.
Field trip.
Yeah. One like the main thing that I took away from like video games was it was a way for like us as a group of friends to come together over one commonality. Like when Dreamcast came out, like everybody couldn't afford the Dreamcast, but Ed could afford the Dreamcast, and Ed's parents got Ed the Dreamcast. So then everybody goes to Ed's house, and then Ed's parents got to deal with 7 kids running amok, causing shenanigans and tomfoolery all over the house. But for me, And in our group, like that was the memory that I have of that game in the console. It wasn't the actual game or the console. It was the time that we spent together and the fun that we had and the shenanigans and all, you know what I mean? Like all the great
Well
stuff.
said.
So
I remember like all my boys, like that's how we bonded, you know, like we have one console at one guy's house and we played Super Smash. And freaking everybody wanted to come, especially whenever they made the eight adapter. They made it 8 players, bro. So that was crazy. I mean, it's part of my time, guys, now. So I feel like you guys don't understand it. No, I'm kidding. Super Smash is a dope game.
Brawl was like the game that I played after school at the after school daycare, I guess I'll call it, for middle schoolers. It's like they had a GameCube and 4 controllers, and like we just played that thing until our parents came and got us after 3-4 hours of constant brawl. It was a blast.
I just gotta say, it was Melee. Brawl was that garbage one that they did
Shit,
for
dude,
the.
it was Melee. You're right. I really liked Brawl though, personally. Melee was the one on Cube though. Dang it, Hondro.
So
It was the Wii,
So-
you know? Freaking
like I just remember, like, speaking of Smash though, like I'll date myself now. Like I remember when like the original N64 Smash commercial came out, and like Nintendo would never make that now because like you have all these like Nintendo mascots frolicking through a field, and then all of a sudden they just start going after each other and just beating the crap out of each other. And I just remember like seeing that, being like, "Yo, what is this? Why is Mario beating up Pikachu?" And like I was hooked. Like I needed that game.
Yo,
That was
hi guys. I wanted first of all, thank you for having me, and yeah, I wanted to share as well. So you guys bringing me back, man. The memories are crazy in all the ways. But the game, when you talk about like a game that you played like for hours and hours, I remember, and this brings me a little bit. There was no arcade in Germany, so I'm from Germany, usually from Poland, originally from Poland, but living now in Germany, and we games were expensive, so we went to something like Blockbuster. It was called Video World, and if the game was there, and your evening was like saved. And there was like one weekend when my parents were like on vacation, and I invited like my brother and me. We invited 2 friends, and we played GoldenEye for fucking 16 hours the whole night. Eat only like toast and cheese with ketchup. And you played that fucking game for 16 hours and you completely forgot about everything. So those are the memories, man. Really crazy.
GoldenEye is like, I played that game so much growing up too that like I played inverted when I got like an Xbox for like 3 years because of GoldenEye. Like, and it's inverted controls. Like I couldn't switch off of it forever. And like finally I learned how. But yeah, GoldenEye was, man, that was a game that, yeah, you'd spend for hours at sleepovers. And
James Bond, baby.
Dude, was that the one
That
with
was-
the rocket that you can go first person and fly it through the buildings and stuff?
no, that was a much later one. GoldenEye was it was N64, and man, it like and that's like back when like multiplayer, like you could see everyone's screen, and so like you'd get in fights over like you were peeking and you were, and like, oh man, that's
Bro, you'd be playing on a small screen. Everybody is like right next to each other, and you'd be like, yo.
yeah, it'd be like the equivalent of an iPad now, and you got like 4 dudes like huddled around it, all looking at a small corner just to shoot each other with a gun you can't really aim that well, and you have to like rely on auto aim.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then
Definitely
someone's always trying to use Odd Job because Odd Job was short.
I
Yo,
was
you got
cheating.
your hand up?
Yeah, like just talking about like Blockbuster era and stuff like that. It reminded me of did anyone here have like when PlayStation came out? First there was like that thing with like disc swap. So like if you could have like copied versions of CDs, and like the back of the PS1, there was like this little button. If you kept the like lid up, if you held that little button, the disc would spin. And if you timed it right, I think it was after like the first PlayStation logo came up, if you switched out the CD, it would run it even though it was like a copied version. But then after that, like you could get your PlayStation chipped as well, so it could like freely play copied games or like region locked games. And then I remember like we would just go into Blockbuster, rent a game for I think it was like £3.95 or something at the time. Copy the game from the PC, like just burn it onto like with a CD rewriter. Copy the game and then give it back, and then you've got the game. And then like it went a step further. Where you're like, fuck the £3.95. We used to buy games from like the game shop, go home, copy it, and then return it, get the money back, buy another game, and then just run it up. I think by the end of it, we had like two like the whole PlayStation 1 catalog just sitting there and like rewrite games. Elite times, man.
Some of my
Elite
best
times.
friends, yeah, some of my best friends did that as well with the Genesis and the Super Nintendo, except there was a thing called a Magic Drive, and it had a hard drive. You could literally, it had a cartridge insert. You would set it on top of your Genesis or your Super Nintendo, and it would copy the games on the 3.5-inch floppies. And so you might have to use multiple floppies. It was the same shit. It would trip me out because they would go to Jungle Video and rent a game, copy, take it back, and they literally had every single Genesis, Nintendo game. I was like, what the fuck, bro? I was like, it cost like $500, but it was so worth it. Like, it's dumb.
$500 is crazy money. That's like what 10, 30, well, back then like 30 games.
Yeah, so I'm saying though, if you copy 10 games though, bro, then no, if you copy basically 20 games, because games were $50, so you know what I'm saying, that's about 10, 20 games. Like if you copy more than 10 or 20 games, you made your money back. You know what I'm saying? Everything after that, you just have the whole library of everything, like killing it.
First of all, I want to give a shout out to Robsy's dad. What a freaking legend. Secondly, Conduit. Nice to see you, man. It's been so long. When Fortnite. 3, I had my appendix removed when I was in year 10 or 11. I don't know. I think I was like 14 or 15. And then my mum, she was in Iran, which is where I'm from. And when she found out, she panicked and she came over and she bought a Nintendo DS for me. And it had about 400 games inside it. That was like the best day of my life. In Iran, there is no rules. You can download whatever you want. Games cost like 30p or something. It was definitely good times. Who else hasn't spoken? Because we had an influx of people come up. I feel bad if I've left anybody out. Just feel free to speak on top of each other.
Yeah, I just gotta say, the LAN tournaments was the serious like epic era for me when we finally got to that point with like Halo and Xboxes, where like if you just had one other person who could come and like you just link up an Ethernet cable. That was for me the 16-hour stay up, chug Sprite, and forget about everything and just rocket launchers only or snipers only maps type vibe. Like, yeah,
Pistols
Awesome cars. What were they called? Doom buggies? The Halo? Like you had like all those cars and like you would shoot at each other and like fly
like the
around.
warthogs and stuff. Yeah, I
Big
mean
map.
Halo was sick.
Yeah, that LAN, when the LAN came out and having people like group up, that was intense, man.
I mean, it's basically like playing online but offline, right? Like 800 people met in Berlin in a bunker. So I was on a LAN party playing Counter-Strike mainly for 3 days. So there's a bunker beneath Berlin, and this whole thing was filled. And with those guys not showering, not washing, just playing games and drinking Red Bull. Absolutely crazy. But basically, that was like the pre-internet stuff that you had to do before you could meet 800 people like by a click. So absolute crazy. I carried my fucking PC and my screen, and that was not no flat screen. It was a cube screen. So yeah, weird times. But somehow we had to do this, and we did this because we wanted to play. So that's the power of gaming.
Oh my god, Luke, I have the funniest visuals in my head of you right now, and I don't even know what you look like. You have those pink glasses on. I want to ask, I want to ask you guys, what do you think makes a good game now? Because things have changed, but what do you think games nowadays need to do to keep people going?
So I like Fortnite because it's so easy to like all of us just jump on and like we could be friends and we'll play the game. It's so simple. That's like one of the aspects, and it's so fun because the weapons are fun. They have a mass like collection. You don't have to pick just one, two weapons. You have like lightsabers for Star Wars right now. You have the Force. You have like all these like cars, motorcycles. That's what makes it fun. Especially if you play with good people and you win, you get dubs. That's what it's all about.
Agreed. That's why Cass's wife doesn't play with him because he's not very good.
Whoa. First off, I gotta say, as someone who is severely depleted on time, to try and get good at any first person shooter game is like a fucking 4-year degree in university or some shit. Like, I don't have time to grind to get the Twitch muscles back up to where like half of y'all are, and then still not even be that good. But yeah, I think for me, looking at like the world, how gaming's changed, the stuff that does make me want to jump back in is like games with like really good storylines and graphics always get me. So when y'all were FOMOing over Elden Ring, it was like the first time I was like, maybe I'll spend like just a few hours. I'm like, nah, bro, don't even, because those ones I get lost in, and I'm still not that good. So it's just a lot of time wasted.
Yeah, I think like especially like lately in the last, I don't know, quite a long time actually, quite many years, like games have kind of like lost their almost sparkle or something, and I think that might be partly due to like the like commercialization of it all, and like studios getting into like making games purely for like the money sort of aspect of it, like especially like EA games, like they've made so many games that are just like crap and like they've bombed because they're not built out and made out of passion. And I think that's what's missing. Like all of the games that were made in the early days, especially, is like it was just devs coming together out of like the passion for making something enjoyable for people. And I think that's kind of like lost a lot nowadays. I was on you can ask Freya, I was on like the PlayStation Store, and I've booted up the PlayStation Store, I think like at least 2-3 times a week for the past like month or 2 months, trying to find a game to play, scrolling through hundreds and hundreds of titles, and none of them are like good. Like I've downloaded so many, like I play like 2 minutes and I'm like, this is arse, this is crap. And there's like been I think maybe like only a handful of games that can like true, like I can be like, yeah, this is like a really really good game, like Elden Ring. There's like a game called Returnal, I don't know if anyone's played that, but it's always like the indie games, or like the games where like they've spent a lot of time and effort doing like a good story, like putting the mechanics right and all of those things, because it all feels a bit like samey nowadays. Even like the Spider-Man games, all of those like automatic actions, like you're playing and then it turns into like a sequence where all you have to do is press circle, and then he does like 50 backflips, does like a little thing, and then you have to press X, and then he does another 30 backflips. It's like, what's the fun in that? It's turned into like movies. But yeah, I think lately, man, games have fallen off a bit, man. They need to pick it back up, make games great again.
GTA is about to put out like $2 billion into their game. Like you could do whatever you want, cheat codes, bro. I remember that was like the blessing of GTA.
But like for me, it's like weird because like gaming like has like two categories almost, where it's like I honestly don't have fun playing shooters anymore, like unless I'm playing with friends. Like if I'm playing with a group, it's fun, but like I can't just go grind a shooter like by myself. Like I don't like playing Fortnite single player. I love playing Fortnite in a group. Like I don't like, and so it's weird, like if I'm playing single player, like it's got to be like Zelda or like Jedi Survivor, like some sort of like third person action adventure or like RPG type. Like I can do those by myself for hours, but like I can't do shooters like sitting by myself like at my computer. It's just not fun. So like to me, like it just needs to be fun, and like whether that's like with a group or like by yourself or like some of my favorite gaming memories are like just playing like Mario Party with like a group of friends, like where nobody like gives a shit about like how they do. It's like you grab a beer, you're having some food, like hanging out on like a Friday night, just playing this dumb party game where you're all just laughing at each other. And so like to me, like games just need to be fun again. Like I feel like with streaming and all the competitive nature, like it's like you get this group that just like takes everything so serious, and like this game needs to be my life and needs to be how I make my money. So like I'm just gonna sweat nonstop. And like if you're not doing the same, it's not gonna be fun for you. And it's like that's just not my cup of
Be
tea.
careful,
Oh,
Hondro.
RuneScape.
Connie's listening.
How many of your friends played RuneScape? Like, I have like friends that still play RuneScape. It's kind of crazy. Like, there's so many games that like take over people's lives, and like Club Penguin. Oh my gosh! Like, just open metaverses are fun. Like, we could just hang around and like everyone can hang out, see your like igloo. You know, that's cool. You're whatever. That's
Yeah,
hot.
we played like what the person before said. Like you cannot jump in a game and have so much fun anymore. When I like open up Apex Legends, you play with 3 other people that are pretty random. It's pretty hard to find a group like that you consistently play, because after you even win a match, then the group is split up and you play again with other people. So when you said RuneScape, I played a game called Dark Age of Camelot back in the days. It was this multi-mass online player game where it was the metaverse basically. So you build a character up, you found like items, you had those items after grinding, and then you had like people in the game that you started to get to know them, and then you regularly like spoke to them, you knew them, and it were in the end it were like hundreds of people. So this was like a game that was like with the same people, and you leveled up and you kept your items and so on. So this was like a continuous thing. So I think this is something that I'm missing a little bit, that you have the invest that you put into a game. You also like somehow you know that you played for a long time, so you earned your place there somehow. And now this is like, if you start one of those new games now, it's always from the beginning. And there's also no big rewards. I mean, there's a skin or
That's
something, but
beautiful. What if you could like pass on your game mode to your kid or like to your cousin and like just pass it? Like, oh, I got this armor, flash it like in this battle, and like it's just gonna have like your name, like kind of because you're posted on the blockchain, Web3 and gaming. So I got a call, so I'm probably bugging.
My kid's not
yeah,
getting
but
any.
that's the direction, right?
But that's it.
Let's throw it to Vi. They've had their hand up for a minute.
Hey, going back to your question, well, I'll start off by saying I'm really enjoying everyone's takes right now. Back to the question about, at least for me, what makes a game really fun and exciting, using Fortnite as an example. It's the fact that they're bringing in other things that we already love into what they've built. And so Fortnite has become much more than just a game. It's become basically a platform. Brands see it as a platform. Creators are now expanding into being able to use this platform. And for me, like that will allow the game to be ever evolving. And for someone like me who needs just the constant like dopamine and adrenaline hits, like I just know that anytime I log into Fortnite, there's going to be something new and exciting. And that can't be
Epic,
said for every game.
Epic Games actually like invested into a pre-IPO, and I saw some things like they're gonna open metaverse that they're creating. It's pretty impressive. They're killing it, and Unreal Engine, we're already in it. So sick.
Yeah, shout out to Vi on that take. I think I still don't even want to play Fortnite because I was terrible when they had the build mode. I was so bad, and that was like the peak era where I'm like, yo, I am not grinding this game to get waxed by 5-year-olds. Like, I'm just not gonna do it. But yeah, when I saw they did things like the Travis Scott concert and all these other like different concepts of adding in like, you know, Goku and different like huge IPs. Like that stuff is just super cool. And it's almost part of the funny thing when people talk about like, you know, where should Web3 gaming go, because people are like, you know, you are going to compete with something like Fortnite. You know, they've got all the attention. Like why is some kid who's played Fortnite for 6 years going to switch to whatever other game?
I was looking in my closet and I forgot, like, I bought one of the action figures. Travis Scott made a action figure with Fortnite, and I'm like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, I kind of want to answer that question as well. Like, I'm pretty much on the boat of Cass and Hondro, or like, I mean, I just have so much going on, like time wise, I couldn't really even sit down and grind enough to make those games enjoyable, right? Because it's like if it's a first person shooter, like you need to kind of learn all the moves and the maps and the guns before you really, and sometimes unlocking stuff, right? Before you can really even be remotely competitive. Like you can't really just pick it up and play. So like, I think a lot of it just depends on kind of the mood that you're in. But the mechanics play a big part. Like we want a balance of storytelling and gameplay. And V hit the nail on the head too. Like a lot of these games and production studios are building like these universes. I think it's like really nice because then when you're in that, it's like you at least know that you're going to be getting a good experience, from anything that they drop. I think that makes it easier for people to grow, and if that ends up like sprawling into Web3, I think would be really cool. And I've been playing like you guys still. I need to get you guys into VR still because there's some pretty cool games like Population 1 is like a Fortnite with, don't worry, Cass, there's no build mode, but it's like teams of 3. They drop you down, and then you parachute down, and you have to kind of work the map. Super fun. In VR, it's just a completely different experience, and you're also getting some pretty good workout. Your arms will be on fire after a couple of hours of that game.
I want to hear what Ellen has to say, but I also have to say Fortnite in VR would make me puke. I would throw up. But go ahead, Ellen.
Oh yeah, no, I've just been kind of listening as I've been doing some yard work and shit, and it's been just sort of an amazing journey through like the history of gaming. I started on an old Texas Instrument machine playing Pong and shit, and moved all the way to like I had a NES was like the first system that I like bought and owned and like cherished and loved, and it was like Mario and all that 2D games and shit. And then, all the way to like, GoldenEye was another one I spent like so many hours on. I'm like, Andra, I still play first person shooters and inverted. I can't not do it, man. It's just like I played way too much GoldenEye to not do that. But I think that, there's going to be like I would imagine a lot more sort of teasing out of collaborative games as we sort of jump in. Like Fortnite's given us a bit of a sight into it. I played a little bit, like just sort of intro to Fortnite, just because I'm an old head but I love games and shit, so I had to like get in there and try to figure it out. Whenever people started like posting clones and shit in Fortnite, I was like, okay, I guess I got to learn how to do this. But yeah, I mean, I hope that there's sort of some much more complex collaborative games that come out. I know that like some of the Fortnite battles and stuff that I've seen Valhalla do, where you get like groups fighting each other, is kind of cool. But I would like to see something more collaborative on the like solving puzzles and not so much like killing each other. Realm. I think Web3 is going to allow a lot of that. Hopefully, a lot of interoperability. I also like the randomness that they've introduced in some of these games, like Fall Guys and shit. Like you don't like there's no way to like be good. You just go in there and have just a riotous laughing of what your little guy's doing with all your friends. And obviously Yobs is in here, so I did the quests with Clone Force and that crew. And after the quest games, we had like or after the quests, we played little games on Twitch. I guess they're native to Twitch, and that was always fun. It was like, kind of totally random. Like you could just boost and that was all you fucking do. But it was like the fun bit was everyone in there just like cracking up and seeing who fell off. And, that was, that was fun to me. That was like super fun. And it wasn't like, oh, I got to grind this to be, really good at it or whatever. So I hope that we see a little bit more of maybe those two aspects as we move into Web3. And like, we were doing it the other day in I think we were in Prez's pod, and we were dicking around, and I think somebody just put up a first person shooter like in the pod on a screen, and you could like walk up to it and just play with whoever was in there. And so yeah, I mean, I think Web3 and especially these pods and stuff will enable like you to hang out with your friends in the metaverse, and like you can play whatever kind of game you want to, and everyone will sort of gravitate to each one and whichever, so that way it's like you have a lot of different games going on at the same time. Like an arcade experience, we were talking about arcades earlier. Like you go into a metaverse pod and like you have all these games in every different corner of the pod, and you can just like go have a good laugh in one corner and go, do first person shooter in another corner. And, so you have like multiple games going on at the same time and everyone's just having a blast, right?
You know what game I need? And it's just, I need a Web3 game where there's no rewards, but it's just a fighting game, right? And all the characters are all the different communities. Since we like to fight each other anyways, like we might as well just like take it online and settle the score once and for all in the old fashioned way.
Did you just say Web3 game with no rewards? What are you talking about?
Well, actually, the reward can be like a quarter that's like designed like the winning community, right? And it's just like a for bragging rights thing that like yearly, what all of the big players come together, and we send our best fighting game champions out into this tournament, and we just duke it out the old school way, and then the rest of the year we just can't fight with each other.
Andre, you're so cute. Are you okay?
I mean, I'm fine.
I think it's all those emails. Gonna throw it up to V.
Ilan, I don't know if you have frolicked around in the creative mode of Epic Games and Fortnite, but what you're talking about kind of exists there. I have had really hilarious moments with friends doing like horror themed escape rooms. And it is very much like solving puzzles. They have obstacle courses, they have racing games, they have ones where you literally just chill around. During Dragon Ball Z's like partnership, they had an island where you could literally just go and watch episodes of Dragon Ball. So like your ideal, thing that you're talking about is definitely being built. I wouldn't say that it's there yet, but I can definitely see a world where like let's say the item shop is kind of like the dot swoosh experience of how seamless it is to purchase an item that you want that is verified on the blockchain. That that would be an amazing concept that I don't think is too far out in the future. Secondly, I mostly wanted to ask when will there be an artifact quest experience in Unreal, because we could all be in that lobby frolicking together. And I would love to see what everyone's emotes are.
I don't have the answers for that one, mate. Sorry.
Yeah. I think you might, but that's fine.
Yeah, we were actually in Beb kind of took us on a little journey. We were in Bad Take Discord, and we were all in there in our BRMs, right, and just like kind of having a laugh and checking out the BRMs in Hyperfi. And Beb was our little architect in the Matrix, and was creating all these little worlds for us to fly around in. And so I definitely see some questing happening relatively soon in one of those spaces, and hopefully it'll be for a super cool unlock or whatever. So I'm with you, B. I mean, I think that's going to be coming soon, and I hope that it's coming sooner rather than later, and I can't wait for that.
I know Fortnite seems quite intimidating because of the whole, reaction aspect of it, and building and not building and all of that stuff. But as long as you can move around, that's all that matters, because there are so many different modes created by community members as well. And you can also, as V said, like you can make your own environments and your own like obstacle courses. So if you're interested in like the future of what this could potentially become, just try out Fortnite. Prez has been up here for a while. I would like to throw it to you if you're around. He's not around. Anybody? V, I think you had your mic off for a sec.
Yes, slipping in that Fortnite is compatible on multiple like different consoles, and so you can play with someone on a PC. I can be on a Switch. Someone else can be Xbox, PS5. I don't know too many games that are open in that sense, but I also could be super naive. But I think that's a really big aspect that makes what they're doing very appealing.
If you want to get dubs, you should play Fortnite on Switch. For some reason, it's so much easier to get wins.
Is it? Because I always win. Now I feel like it's because I'm on a Switch.
As long as you're not playing against.
I think they ratio the lobby depending on like what your squad is. So if you have one Switch player, it like kind of skews to having more Switch players in your match.
Yeah, and then if you've got a PC player with you, just it's game over. All the sweats come out.
Okay, looks like we got Prez back. Hey, hello.
Yeah, I'm back, sir. I'm just doing some yard work. Took me a while to grab the phone and unlock it. Anyhow, yeah, cool conversations here today. Very nostalgic. Think back to my lifetime seemingly gaming now. It didn't really actually dawn on me how much gaming I must have done over the years until like hear you guys walking through like all the classics. GoldenEye keeps getting mentioned a lot. That one I played like crazy. But when I think about the biggest titles, stuff that I might have sunk the most time and energy into, I mean, I go way back. So everything from the original Doom to Tetris to I think Pokemon Red and Blue. I remember playing those a lot on the original Game Boy. Then I guess you had the more modern era. I was big into Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, Super Smash. Always been into fighting games. So it's cool hearing a few people mention Mortal Kombat, especially. That one was like had a huge impact. I remember that was like all the buzz in the schoolyard growing up was about Mortal Kombat and like, did you hear about this finishing move and all this? Like, this was the era before the internet, right? Really. And so like the way you discovered games and some of these things was like, through word of mouth in the schoolyard or through the gaming magazines. Or maybe, you go to the arcade and you get to witness some stuff there. So the whole gaming scene, I think, was very, very magical time to be alive back then. GoldenEye was huge. I remember Metal Gear Solid 1. That was a huge, huge title. I love that. That was like the first truly like cinematic type of gaming experience that I remember ever having. I was huge into Unreal Tournament. Unreal Tournament was huge. Halo was big. I noticed you guys mentioned Halo a lot. I figures that one would come up. LAN parties, even with when you could link the Xboxes together, that was a huge thing forward. I remember doing that as well. Again, these are like experiences that, no one's going to bother getting their consoles together and having that old school kind of LAN party anymore. You do that online from the comfort of your own home. So it's like, it's never going to be really experienced again, So if you did grow up in that era and you did enjoy, that kind of experience with your friends over gaming, appreciate it, because I don't think modern kids really have that. And it goes even before that, like you guys were saying earlier as well. Not every kid would have the new console, hardly, let alone the new game. So a big part of it was obviously going to hang out at your friend's house because he luckily had the console or the game. This is a lot of nostalgia is rooted in, I guess, we're like actual interpersonal experiences where you did hang out and bond with all the other kids on the block around these things, especially with the era of arcades too. Arcades was crazy. You go to the mall, there was this like dark room with all these lights and noises and music. That was an experience in itself that I don't think we'll ever get back.
Yeah, it's quite sad seeing the kids in my family, like they're about 5, 6, and one of them's playing on the iPad, and the other one's like, "Oh, let me have a go, let me have a go," and she's like, "No, you have your own iPad." And it's like the thought of taking turns doesn't even compute in their heads. It's like, you go off, do your own thing. This is my time now. So it's really, really sad to see. Hacks, you got your hand up?
Yeah, hey, I actually wanted to ask about the man of the hour, the man of the week, actually. Ali Al Esadi, I think that's how I say his name. But yeah, fucking in love with his animations and excited to get my laser eyes done like that. So, yeah, do you guys know where he is? Because I was really hoping he'd actually come to this space and just talk to us. Because, man, like that clone invasion all over the timeline was just proud to be part of the community and like happy to actually see that on my timeline to get the credit that we deserve because literally the best fucking 3D art out there. So getting that animated and getting that in the video style is just way too awesome. So yeah, if anybody knows where he is or if like you have in contact with him, just send him a DM, please, and thank you.
Well, interesting you ask about Ali because maybe he's going to be our guest speaker next week. So maybe keep an eye out for that one. V, do you have your hand up?
Yeah, there's on the topic of kind of how isolated gaming has become, there's actually this VR game called Akron. And it's the first time that I've seen a VR game be interactive in the sense where not only the person with the headset is playing the game, but they actually made it so that the person with the headset is like this tree who's trying to protect their acorns. And I think up to 6 or 8 other people can join as squirrels who are trying to steal these acorns. And you are a squirrel on your phone and you just join the lobby through a code. And I thought that was a really exciting concept because one of my biggest issues with VR is that it is so isolated and you have to like cast it in order for people to see what you're experiencing. But this game brought together the concept of like mobile gaming, people already being on their phones, but now you can just terrorize this tree. And so taking turns, like the kids would be like, I want to be the tree this time, or not be the tree, or, as a team of squirrels, like you're trying to F up this tree, and it just becomes a very collaborative experience. And I really hope that they create more games like that.
Oh my god, that is so fascinating. Altz is one of the main people in our community that has experience with VR. I have been wanting to get into it, but I just get motion sickness, and it's very, very sad because I know it's the future and I want to be a future person, but it's just so, so painful. We've got about 5 minutes left. If anybody has any final words, just want to shout out that Zaid Kurdsey, the artist, the really good one, he wants somebody to play COD with. So if you're bothered and, he's not going to carry you, he's going to be quite ruthless. He's one of those gamers. If you want to sacrifice a few minutes or hours of your time, send him a DM. Hello, Alts.
Happy Parade Day, everyone. It'll get better too with VR because like the headsets will continue to get better. Like a lot of it's about the frame rate. Like as that improves, so like the motion sickness won't be as bad and stuff. But I also wanted to circle back to like the blockchain side of things. I think one of the key components to think about is like as you play, if you were like the advantage of playing on chain is you'd actually be able to build like reputation as a player on chain, right? Your scores could be verified on chain. You could go into another game and people could see, oh shit, he's really good at this game, or she's really good at this game, blah blah blah. And you could kind of bring that reputation with you, I think, and also like the ability to move assets from one game. I think that will eventually get there as well, where you could like say you go play Zelda unlock some epic sword, and then you could then take it into another game and use it and earn other access there and unlock things, and just kind of like the ways that kind of all meld together, I think will be really, really cool to see unfold.
Yo, what's good, guys? Just thought we should hop in here and talk about what we've been building. So yeah, me and Pierre are building a virtual universe, so I thought this would be a good time to speak up and talk about the stuff that we've been doing. Shout out to Cass and Yobs for pulling up recently. You guys are lit, and hopefully we'll have Zayd over this weekend as well. Yeah, it's been super informative just hearing what everyone's been wanting from the gaming side of things and how it's going to integrate with Web3. To tell you guys a bit, so basically we built everything in Unreal. So we can integrate almost anything Web3 related. So like in-game minting, connect your wallet, anything you want really. And we can build any type of gaming experience. We could do a sort of like questing system like Zelda, smaller events for creators in the space. So yeah, just a lot of stuff planned. Just wanted to hop in here and say hi to you guys, and glad to have heard all of this.
Yeah, Vision. I think I've actually been witnessing a lot of your
Vision
journey.
has been him and Pierre have been cooking up, so it is going to be exciting to see what comes from the local community and obviously everyone else as well. Like there's a lot of cool stuff going on.
Cass just rugging everyone by talking over.
Oh, I can't hear Ilan. Am I just like talking over him? Damn, might be
talking.
No, you're good, dude. I was just gonna give Vision his props because it's incredible stuff, incredible work. I love to see it. I love to see the output that you're creating, and yeah, it's really really revolutionary, man. And it's one of the things that makes me like, super proud to be a clone and be a part of the clone community. And I mean, all these creators, it really is the best. And the community is really, or the creative community is just next level. So yeah, I want to throw those flowers out there to Vision and obviously all the creators that are doing rad stuff. Alts with Meta Heads that just minted that, and Yobs with Clone Force, love that. So yeah, man, it's just so many cool things coming out of this crew.
Absolutely agree. I'm so excited. Kuro, hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. I had a question for Vision. How did you get your clone into Unreal? I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yo, so dude, it was not an easy process. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of just sitting in front of my desk for 10 hours and being like, what the fuck is going on? But in the end, so basically I just went into Blender, appended all the files, popped that into Mixamo, downloaded all the animations that I wanted, put that back into Blender. I had some issues with the textures, so I actually had to take in another clone of the textures and then put that into Blender as well, and then retexture it, and then export all of that into Unreal, and then create an animation blueprint, and then now it's all good. But I mean, I can help you out if you want. Just send me a DM and I'll help you out. But I actually have to redo all of this right now because I used the Mixamo rig. Except now we're creating a avatar customizer, so all of you guys are going to be able to pull up with your clones relatively soon. So I just wanted to use the Genesis 8 male rig instead. Plus, we'll be able to add like facial rigging and stuff like that, so it's going to be lit. But yeah, dude, just hit me up. I'll help you.
Okay, sweet. I'll send you a DM. Thank you very, very much. So like most of the Bad Take crew has like sent over their models. Is this going to be something like that's fairly automated? So because like we have like a little thing that we're doing in the Discord. It's just like me and a non-clone holder right now on the team doing it, but you and I three. But we're like putting together a little rail-based shooter for Bad Takes. So yeah, that's the one thing that we're stuck on, is how to get the clones in properly. So it'd be cool to collaborate.
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely help you guys with that. So yeah, we're trying to develop with Cass, Beb, and Pierre, basically a way for you to connect your wallet, and we would go fetch the metadata of your clone, like all of its meshes and all of its attributes, and then we would have on our side, on our game side, we'd have all of those files already, and we would just be putting them together modularly. So then you could instantly just hop into the game as your clone. But you could also switch out some of those traits. Like if you don't want to look like exactly like your clone, you could also add like some other traits that you fuck with and all of that. But yeah, just hit me up and we can definitely find a way to collaborate.
The future is here, people. We have arrived. But we must also go now because we are half an hour over.
The future
What the
is
frick?
now, as
Kaz,
someone
are
say.
you
Dude, am I
okay?
so rugged I can't hear Fairy too?
Oh
Like,
my god.
I couldn't
Cass,
hear Hillen before, and I'm
dog.
talking over
Cass,
him. Now I can't hear Fairy, so
Cass,
I
give me
apologize. Jesus.
Kaz, get a new phone. Oh my
Damn,
god.
Hondro too, can't hear him? That sucks, bro.
Can you hear
Thank
me,
God the
Cass?
space is almost over.
What about me, Cass? Can you hear me, Cass? Damn, he's like hella rugged.
no. Cass can't hear you either. Oh, Cass can't hear anyone. Cass only hears himself, and he's just like, so he thinks like it's just been a silent like hour and a half, and he's just like, damn dog, why is no one talking? I guess this is it.
Oh my god, I'm dead. Oh my god. He's so funny. We need to get Cass a new phone and make sure that he's sitting at his desk. No more walking for you, my love. No more walking. Alright, guys. I really need to go and play some Zelda. This has been such an epic spaces. I loved it, and I think we need to do a round 2 because the space is moving so damn fast. So by the time we do this again, there's going to be way new updates. I love you all. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, whatever you're doing, and we'll catch you next week with our very special guest. Bye. This is where everybody says bye.
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 Bye. Take care,
Bye.
guys.
Ciao.
Later,
Nice.
clone fam.